Good morning, church. It is good to be with you today. And the first passage we want to look at is out of Nehemiah, the sword and trowel. And they've gotten some threatening news. There might be attackers coming. So Nehemiah sets about making sure that the people are ready and defended. Each of the builders had his sword strapped around his waist while he was building, and the trumpeter was beside me. And the laborer who carried the loads worked with one hand and held a weapon with the other. They would not let anything dissuade them from accomplishing this task, and they went about their labors completely ready to defend at any moment. I don't think we would be out of line to spiritualize this and to say, in our modern context, where we don't have a threat of physical attack at the moment, but we are to be ready spiritually at any time to be able to carry on our labors and have our sword in one hand. If we go to Ephesians 6, we remember it's the sword of the Spirit that we carry, that is God's word, that is sharp and active, sharper than any two-edged sword. His word is so sharp, Hebrews 4 says it can divide soul from spirit, bone from marrow. And so as we go about our regular labors, we're always keeping a hold of God's sword in our hand, because these spiritual attacks and the need to have a spiritual defense for what we believe in can come at any moment. Like a thief, someone who comes to destroy, like a prowling, roaring lion. And we need to be ready to give a defense, Peter says, for what we believe, give an answer for the hope that is within us, being filled with Christ. So let's take some encouragement from this, that we can go and we can always be prepared. The other wonderful opportunity we see out of Nehemiah chapter 3 is all the next to each other passages. And this group labored next to this group, next to this group, and they were all putting together the wall together, laboring side by side, understanding the work was too big for any one person, and there was an urgency to get it accomplished quickly. We see that they're going to accomplish it in under 2 months. It's outrageous how swiftly they take action here. As a Christian group, as a Christian church, again, this is our model, laboring side by side. No one person is able to bear the load of what God commanded, to go and advance the kingdom and to spread the word. And so we are tasked with going out and doing that with our fellow Christians, to labor with them. And we hear the hope in Luke 23. We get the crucifixion account. We should always take pause to slowly read through this. This is the linchpin of our faith, the crucifixion and the resurrection. And what Jesus says is an attitude for us to model, even as we think about the wrath of God come down, the rent curtain saying there's no longer a separation between us and God. How he forgives. Father, forgive them, because they don't know what they are doing. If Jesus could forgive the ones who were pounding nails through his hands and feet, and then he tells us that we are to forgive in the way that he forgave. When people afflict us, wrong us, we go back to Christ and say, what did he do? Even in the midst of the wrong. And they certainly were not repentant, these Romans. He forgave them. And God's blessing could later come upon them. We can forgive. We can hand people over to God. We can allow God's justice to work rather than our own. And when we remember this crucifixion today, let's thank God that he could cover us in his blood, that he could wash us white as snow, and that he could cause us to be worthy of the calling that he has placed upon our lives, so that we can walk out the faith that has been given to us.